Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome in. Hello to the moderators. Hello to the members, and hello to the viewers. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. Hi, Margaret. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Midday Monday. It used to be our early wake up with Juan. It's now Monday midday live stream. Super happy to have you guys all here. So, on the early wake up with Juans, I utilized that time to organize my week. And since I'm no longer doing that time and I'm going live now, I thought, well, what about shifting a little bit to the whips? So, whips to work on for the week. I think that's a really great segue from sitting down, organizing everything on a calendar. I figured, Juan, grab your whips, bring them into the studio, talk about them, and set a goal for which whips you're going to work on for the week. So I'm excited about that. And I learned something today about my whips because I didn't really take inventory of how many I actually had. I did right before the live stream. And so as it stands right now, not including the luck of the draw projects I've got going on, not including those, but I've got 2 knit whips and I have 10 crochet whips in total in the house. And I have 1 UFO, like timeout UFO situation, and that is it. Wait a minute. No, I've got 2 UFOs, but that's it. I forgot. I pulled everything from the whip wall but 2 baskets. So I've got my chevron, my half double crochet chevron. It's sitting on the wall, and also my Annie's Moroccan tiles. That's also sitting on the wall. At some point, I need to pull that off the wall. The goal here is to get them all done so that I can create more whips, more projects, more things. So I'm really excited. I'm going to show you guys what I have, and then I'm going to choose which whips to work on for the week. So hopefully this is of interest to you. And I thought it would be a really great idea to do this live with you guys, right? So good. So, hi, Carrie. Welcome in. And let's see. Oh, I really got to get going on the Moroccan Tiles project. I have the kit, but never started. Well, I finished the first month's installment. I began the second month's installment, and there it sits. I'm in the middle of month 2. And I've debated as to whether or not I should just take what I have, scrap it, and start over again, make it like fresh while I still can. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order the colors of the yarn that I met. And by the way, the yarn that's being used for that kit is Premier's Anti-Pilling Worsted. And so I have just 1 month completed. It's not very big. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to start over, I might as well do it now as opposed to, months down the line. I don't know. We'll see. I'll cross that bridge with you guys once I get there. But super happy to have all of you guys here. Hi, Michelle. Welcome in. And Diana, hello to you. Thank you for being here. So above all, I'm hoping the takeaway from today's live stream is if you sit in your space with tons of whips, please understand you're not alone. Please understand there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I think the best way to move forward when you have lots of whips is to decide for yourself, which ones am I going to work on right now? Obviously, you can't work on every single whip that you have, but come up with a plan that's realistic, that makes sense, and that you're not overextending yourself, because I think that's what causes the downfall to many of us who lose our crojo, or just out of sight, out of mind. I see the whips over there, but I'm not going to touch them because it's overwhelming. So I'm thinking that by going through this process with you guys, that it would be a really great opportunity for you to see what I do, and maybe I could influence you guys in a positive way to look at it from a different perspective. So yeah, very excited about this. So here we go. And by the way, I think I said this. I have 10 whips. Okay, so I have 10 whips, 2 UFOs, and 2 knit whips. That's where I'm at. So I have the 10 actual whips right here with me. So without further ado, and no, oh, by the way, I have made progress since the podcast on some of these. So you're going to get a little bit of an update on some of these, but that's okay because it's Monday and the podcast releases on Friday. So I may need to move the needle a little more to have something to show for the podcast because I don't want to do a repeat, appearance. I've already shown it. Why show it again? Kind of a thing, Anyway, here's the first one. If you've been around, you know what my whips are, but I do this because of the updates and things. So anyway, I've got my, I'm going to call these my TikTok squares because I actually created these on a TikTok tutorial demonstration. I was teaching people how to crochet granny squares and how to change colors every round and all the things. And so I've also taught the viewers over there how to rotate your colors so that no two colors are the same. You can still use the same colors, but you can put them in different sequences so that you can have multiple squares with the same colors, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so I've got an entire bag filled with these squares, and I've got all the ends. Some of them have been sewn in. Some of them have not been sewn in. So we're mid-project here, lots of things. So here is my plan for the squares. I'm not wanting to make any more of these. What I'm wanting to do is sew in my ends, and then I'm going to take yarn, obviously, and join these, not as you go. I'm going to utilize one of my tutorials on the channel. It's called the gameplay blanket. In that tutorial, towards the end, I show you how I join the granny squares in a very simple way using chains and single crochet stitches. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to join using single crochet and chains. And then what I'm going to do, once these are done, I'm going to frame the blanket in modern granny. And then I'm going to go around just using random solid colors in a modern granny. And then I want to frame it in black. So that's the plan for this. This is a donation blanket, and it may be a car blanket. I don't know. We'll see. If I keep this for the car, if I keep this for Edith, my car's name is Edith, by the way. When she behaves, she's Edie. Anyway, so what I'm planning on doing, if I decide to keep this for me, I will join these in black yarn, frame it in black with the single crochet and chain, and start my modern granny and use the black as the constant, and then just choose random colorful colors in between the black. But if I'm donating this for the kids, which is probably what I might do, I'm going to take like Big Twist roller rink or some fun yarn like that and join all of the squares because this is all solid yarn. I thought it'd be really cool to grab some roller rink from Big Twist or something along those lines to really make it pop. And then I'll take that yarn and create a border maybe. We'll see. Anyway, that's the plan. That's the plan. And a car blanket would be nice, Helen says. I think that would be really cool. Hello, Refracting Rainbows from Brampton. I come to you guys, by the way, from Delaware. I know a lot of you guys who watch me all the time know this, but in case you're new, I come to you from the mid-Atlantic region of Delaware. So, yeah, very nice. All right. The next one that I have here, I've made no progress on this, and I'm okay with this. I used to beat myself up over the whips, like, oh, I didn't make any progress. I'm okay with it. I get to it when I get to it, and I'm giving myself all the grace. So this is Join As You Go Granny Squares. This yarn pack here was purchased on Amazon. I bought this on sale, 62 little balls of yarn. I took each ball and I made a granny square with each color. I'm about to show this to you. There's the hook. I have it in the work now so I don't lose sight of like what size I had and this and that. So this is what it looks like. So I crocheted all of the squares. You get 6 rounds using a 5.5 US letter I crochet hook, 5.5 millimeter US letter I. You get 6 rounds, and it measures 6 inches, 6 rounds, 6 inches. And then I'm taking a very muted color, a mauve, and I'm joining the colors. As you can see, well, you kind of sort of saw it a few seconds ago, but there it is. Join as you go. Modern granny, not modern granny. Join as you go, granny. And the yarn here is Lion Brand Pound of Love and mauve. And the suggested hook size for this yarn, it says on the ball band, is 6 millimeter US letter J. I'm totally using an eye hook, and it's working up beautifully. Super happy with the way that looks. And so right now I've got, this is the width that I'm looking to, is it 8 across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I still have 2 more to put on. So we're almost at the width. I need 2 more squares on either, like on one end. So it's going to be 8 by 8. And I'm going to need to make 2 more because the pack only comes with 62. I need 64. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think I mentioned doing like an 8 by 7, 56 squares. So it's not, I don't know. We'll see. I have some thinking to do still because I don't know if I want an almost square blanket. I may want to just bite the bullet, make 2 more squares so that I have an 8 by 8, 64 squares. And then, I don't know, if, in my mind, it's more even that way. So I may actually do that, 8 by 8. Anyway, nice colors, all the things, right? I'm finishing up this cake, and then I'll move on to this cake. All right. So that is whip number 2. Whip number 3 is my, whip number 3 is my table project here. I have different names for all the things. I don't know why that is, but this is my Scrappy blanket that I sit here and do while I wait to go live, while I, wind down, listen to music, and maybe I'm on the phone having a conversation, or I'm in the middle of sending emails and I need to take a break. I'll work on this. So this is where I'm at right now. I last worked on this on TikTok during a live stream, just chit-chatting, crocheting. And this is the color that I'm currently on. And I'm pulling the yarn out of my yarn ball here. So random colors from my larger bin I'm throwing into this one. And it's being held in this basket that was made for me by a viewer of the channel. Hi, Christine. So Christine made this for me, I think 2 years ago. And I still have it. It's here on my desk. I cherish it. I absolutely love it. And I use it to hold my yarn for my projects. And so I'm using a 5.5 millimeter US letter I crochet hook for this. Medium 4-weight yarn. Any and all colors are welcome to the blanket. And the goal for this is to not cut off in the middle of a round. I want to finish a round with the color that I chose and then move on to the next color. And I want the colors to be as random as humanly possible, just because it's a great opportunity to create a donation blanket that could have several purposes, several uses, So, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in if you're just coming in. Thank you for being here. And by the way, this is going to be a regularly scheduled time slot. So if you're into the Monday Midday live streams with Juan, me, come on over. I would love to have you. And just to recap again, for those who are coming in, I'm going to utilize this time frame to just organize my whips for the week. So whips to work on for the week. Prior to the midday live streams, I did a Whipping It with Juan on Mondays. So I kind of sort of did this already behind the scenes. I thought, okay, well, this is a great opportunity to just bring this forward and share my process with you guys. And then my Whipping It with Juan sessions are now going to be moved to Tuesday. So you still get that one-on-one time with me, the crochet buddy situation. We're just doing that on Tuesdays now. So Mondays is this, which I find is absolutely wonderful. I do want to tell you, before I move on to the next one, I woke up in the middle of the night with design brain. I came into the studio, I put yarn to a hook, did all of that. But in doing that, I realized, why, you only have two whips and the one whip has been sitting in timeout. What are we doing? So, you know how I preach about, if it doesn't bring you joy, quit doing it. With my one project, I think that's going to be the case. What I may do is just bind off where I've gotten so far in the project and just be done with it, because I made mistakes along the way. And I told myself that I'm not going to beat myself up over the mistakes. I'm just going to continue pressing forward, take it as a learned opportunity. But I'm not very proud of what I've done. I did the best I could, but it's not as great as perhaps I wanted it to be. And so I think I may have to take heed to my own advice. If I'm not happy with it, stop. Because if I press forward with something I'm not happy with, I'm not going to want to do it, So take that for what it's worth. If it's not bringing you joy, just quit, put it in timeout. I've done that. It's been in timeout for weeks. And so, yeah. Anyway, take that for what it's worth. All right, let's move on to whip number 3. Whip number 3, okay? Actually, no, whip number 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Whip number 4, we ready? Timber Trails. So I've made some progress since I showcased this last. It's growing. It continues to grow. I'm so surprised I'm not on my 3rd cake yet. 2 cakes, mandala bonus bundle. This is where I'm at. And I absolutely love the colorway here. Absolutely gorgeous. So good. And I'm using a 5mm US letter H crochet hook for this project. This is the recommended hook size for the yarn. And I'm using a Susan Bates. And this is my cake situation. So the first cake is right here. That's the first one. This is the second one. I have just a little bit to go. I'll bring you close so you can kind of sort of see. Just a little bit to go, and then I'll move on to this cake right here. And I've got 5 cakes earmarked for this blanket because I wasn't sure exactly how large it was going to be with the DK weight yarn. Little backstory, a lot of you guys know this. I do not own a DK weight blanket. And I thought, well, if I'm going to make one, I'm going to make one with my pattern and with colorways of a yarn that I really enjoy. I love this colorway. This is so good. The colorway is called Satyrs. Satyrs. You've got the indigo-ish blue with the reds, the gray, and the sandy browns. It's really nice. I'm really enjoying this. I had it in timeout for a long time, by the way. Not that it wasn't bringing me joy. It's just that I was so busy doing all of these other things, which now that I come to think about it, it makes total sense. I was making blankets for the kids for Camp Boggy Creek. So every week, like, this was to the back burner. I was all about making the blankets for the kids. And I said, I'll get to this when I get to it. No big deal, And now that that's done, I'm now back on all of these whips. So it's time to get them all out. So hopefully I can move the needle more. Once I'm done showcasing my whips, I will pick whips to work on for the week to showcase on podcast 128 this Friday. So stay tuned for that. This next one is a new whip that I started since podcast 127 aired. I showed you guys my scrap cakes, and I told you guys that I needed to pick a stitch and do all the things. Well, I'm very happy to report that I made some progress on this, and I am loving the way this blanket is looking. Let me show you. So good. Look at this gorgeous piece of art. Is that not gorgeous or what? I absolutely love the way this looks. It's the moss stitch. I took 2 of my Scrappy cakes and ran them together with an 8mm US letter L crochet hook. And yeah, I absolutely love it. So I chained 120 with an 8mm hook. And then for the very first row, I went into the second chain from the hook and I did the moss stitch back and forth and back and forth. And yeah, here's the thing. When you're working with vintage yarn, specifically vintage Scrappy Cakes yarns, there's a bunch of different thicknesses in the cake. So the consistency will not be there. So what I'm actually trying to do now is to ignore the fact that down here, we've got a very thick 4-weight yarns down here. Up here, not so thick. And if you notice, there's a little bit of a skirting happening down there. Let me show you. You get a little, like it's a little wavy down there. It's not as straight and flat as the top. I think you can kind of sort of see what I mean. I'm leaving that be. I have to, like, I'm going in this with the complete understanding that as long as the stitches are there, the stitches are correct, and my tension is consistent, I'm going to just push through. And once it's done, I'll put it in the washer, then put it in the dryer, and however it sets is how it's going to be. So I'm totally okay with it. But I'm doing this because of the colors. I love, love, love the way the colors are looking together. So if you're wanting some, where did the basket go? Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm looking around like I'm lost in Louisiana somewhere. I don't have it. I think I moved it to the other room. So anyway, here are the cakes. I wanted to show you my cakes of Scrappy yarns. So I'm taking all vintage discontinued variegated yarn, and you don't have to do it with just that. You could do it with whatever you want. But I'm taking all variegated yarns and I'm running them both together. When you do that, you get this effect that I think is just awesome. And when you're making your cakes, try to give yourself contrast, because if you're running both together, you're going to want a light color and a dark color next to each other. And that's why you're seeing the stitches like this, because I'm running a light color with a dark color, light color with a dark color. You will have spots where they're dark, but that's okay. And when you do that, it creates this sort of like gradient effect, like a stippling effect with like a paintbrush. And it's really, really nice. And when you look at it from afar, it creates like this effect that I think is really, really awesome. It's like a painting. I love it. Anyway, so good. All right. And I think I told you guys, but I wanted to make sure 8mm US letter L crochet hook. All right. So good. Hopefully this inspires you guys to maybe try this on your own. You know, this is not my pattern. I don't own the moss stitch. We can all make the moss stitch until the cows come home. Go grab yourself some scrap cakes and make one. All right. So the next one, how many of you guys remember this? This has been in the wings for such a long time. And here I have it in the studio. We're finally getting back to this. This is Tunisian interlock crochet. So those of you guys who have asked, yes, I can do Tunisian crochet. I don't prefer it. It's not, that doesn't really bring me joy like knitting does or like the other parts of crochet does, but I do it. And if I do Tunisian crochet, I do it like all interlock. Unless there's a new stitch that I want to try, then, you know, I'll do it. But yeah, I saved Tunisian for the rainy day situation. All right, so let's open this up and take a look. So this is my project. Super, super nice. I've made no progress on this since I've shown it last. That's exactly where it was when I last showed you guys. I literally took the basket from the studio and put it on the whip wall and left it there. until today, where I decided to pull it forward and say, Juan, you're either going to finish this or you're going to gift whip this or get rid of it, because you can't sit here with these projects if you're not going to move the needle on them. And so, yeah, that is the project there. So I worked this up with an 8mm US letter L crochet hook, literally the same hook as the moss stitch back and forth. So yeah, I pulled this forward and I said, I'm no longer going to leave this sit. And you know what? Even if I do one square a day, or, you know, I have to do something with this. I can't leave this sit. Now it's getting to a baby blanket donation size where I can actually take this and donate this locally. So if I really don't want to move the needle on this, I could literally finish this with black and donate it. I can, but I don't know where I'm at with it yet. All I know is we're working through the things on this. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Super happy to see you guys. Vixen, hello, hello. And who else? Ocean View, hello. Welcome in. I've never done Tunisian crochet. My aunt taught me when I was little, and specifically she taught me Tunisian entrelac in the round, and that's what I've shared on the channel. Everything else in Tunisian I learned on my own, and you know what it is for me? It's the forward pass, the return pass. To me, it takes twice as long to achieve the result that I could achieve with just one crochet hook doing crochet stitches. And I get it. It's just a different avenue within the fiber arts. I totally get it. But for me personally, it doesn't move fast enough. And knitting is its own entity. So I know it goes slow because you're using different like tools. You're using a different tool in Tunisian, but it still reminds me of a crochet hook. Like growing up when I was a kid, we didn't call it a Tunisian crochet hook or a Tunisian hook. We called it an Afghan hook. And that's just what it was. The recipes and the patterns that I saw when I was a kid, you know, are nothing like they are today. So yeah. Anyway, there's that. The next one is being held in my lighthouse bag. And I think I showcased this recently. I finished the white, and now I'm ready to go on to the mustard. So this is my Novacrest star blanket pattern. There it is. Novacrest. And this is a pattern that is on the channel. If you want to follow the tutorial, if you're interested in this, by all means, go ahead and do it. It's fun. If you don't want to watch the tutorial, there is a written pattern on Ravelry and on Etsy. And what I like most about this is the texture. I don't know how the light's going to show it, but there's texture there. We've got popcorns and ridge work and windows and double crochet stitches. It's so much fun. So the yarn here is Premier yarn. This is Premier Value in white. This is Premier Just Yarn Ombre, worsted ombre in mustard, and denim ombre. And I used a 6mm US letter J crochet hook. Okay. Very nice. And by the way, I'm almost finished. This is a donation blanket. I'm literally going to do a reversal of what you're seeing here. So white is literally going to be the center like of the repeat. So I'm going to do like denim, mustard, white, and then mustard, denim. Done. Mustard, denim, done. So yeah, once that's done, I'm donating it. And I've committed to using just the yarn that's in this bag. I've got all the colors in there. You can sort of see it. And yeah, once this is done, I'm going to take the leftover yarn, put it in my bin, and use it for Scrappy blankets. So yeah. All right. I don't know what number we're at. But let's move on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is number 8. Okay. Well, thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. Oh, wow, Christine. 3 in a row. I love that for you and for me and for us. I really do appreciate you guys coming. This was so much fun seeing you guys. You know, it's like we're neighbors. This next one here, I haven't made any progress since the podcast, but there's still time. It is only Monday. This is the moss stitch with Bernat blanket. There it is. Very nice. I'm using a 10 millimeter Susan Bates hook. They just keep getting bigger and bigger. We started with a 5. I just realized that. We started with the 5 millimeter hook and now we're at the 10. So I'm using a 10 for this. These are the colors. I'm missing white and gray. So we have 2 other colorways in here. It's sitting in the next room. But I'm using Bernat blanket, and the pattern is literally on the ball band, guys. Let me grab, I guess I'll grab this one. So on all the ball bands, you'll see this. That's what I'm making. They're calling it the hibernation blanket, which, I mean, it's nice that they called it that, but it's literally just the moss stitch back and forth, and they tell you the recipe. Can't call it a pattern because it doesn't say how many rows of everything. It says go back and forth until you get to this many inches and then change the color for this many inches, so on and so forth. So the recipe calls for 6 balls, but I need 7 because I've done that pattern and I used 7 for the pattern. So I've got 7 and I'm just going back and forth, 6 rows per color, and I'm going to keep going until I run out of yarn. That's it. Very simple, easy. This is really good to put, like, to work on while you watch a movie. No counting involved. You just have to remember your ends. And there's a whole handful of you guys who saw me work the ends, like how I do the moss stitch. You guys are like, can you do a tutorial for that, please? Yes, I will do a quick little tutorial to show you how I do my 2-row repeat. The moss stitch is a 2-row repeat pattern, the way I do it. And the one great thing about the way I do it, I don't know how everyone else does it, but the way I do it is I insert a single crochet at both ends of every row. And it creates a really nice straight edge. You have a little bobble there, but that is your chain 1, which is fine. I love that for us. All right. Very nice. Okay. So let's move on to whip number 10. And I have to tell you, I'm very proud of myself for this. And some of you guys will be super proud of me for this. Hold up. I've made progress since Friday. I'm really wanting to get this done. So when you saw it last, we were at red. Okay, we were at red. And since then, I've added all of that. Yeah, I think I was here at the podcast. So that was Friday. It's now Monday. And so I wanted to surprise you guys. I wanted to hold off and just show you a finished blanket and be like, Pam, I finished it. Look. But I said, well, accountability, I have to bring everything forward, that I'm working on and all the things. So let me show you. I'm now at a point where I'm like, okay, well, how are we holding this? So there's the edge. And there you have it. It's kind of weird how you have to hold a corner to corner to show progress, right? But this is all discontinued vintage variegated yarn over, I guess, about 2 years. And yeah, some of the colors leave much to be desired, but it's all important because it has a history here on the channel. And I felt like it was appropriate to have all of them there. So, yeah. So beautiful. Anyway, I've got the last 4 colors that I'm using for this blanket in the basket, and I want to share that with you guys. Come on. Okay. So here it is. The last 4 colors. And all I need are 4 rows or so of each of these, and I'm finished. I've counted. So the first one here is called Butterfly. This is Red Heart Super Saver Butterfly, colorway from what maybe eons ago. Butterfly. This is Red Heart Super Saver Holly Ivy. Red Heart Super Saver Jewel Tones. And I actually, oh, is this Desert Camo? Hold on. This is Red Heart Super Saver Desert Camo, I think. So camo, yeah, Desert Camo. These are my last 4 colors. And then the interior of the blanket is finished. Then I'm going to take Big Twist in black and do, I'll show you really quick because people have asked me. So when I'm finished my corner to corner, if I want to frame this, what I like to do is go in between my spaces here with a slip stitch, not a single crochet, a slip stitch. It creates a flatter edge. Just a little tip and trick: slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch. Or you can do slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch if you don't want it so tight. But eliminating that single crochet stitch when you're doing this, it creates a flatter edge when you go to add your next color on. So in your corner here, it's going to be like right in that corner there, slip stitch, chain 3 or chain 2, slip stitch right here in your corner. And you're just going to go all the way around and then join your color. And then it's the granny stitch, 3 double crochets in all of your chain spaces. And then the next row, it's going to be single crochet, chain 2 or 3 single crochet. Just for this initial round, slip stitches will give you a very flat edge. I've done the single crochets before in the past, and it works up fine. There's nothing wrong with it. For me, it's just preference. That's all. So, yeah, very, very nice. This has been such a long time in the making, and I'm going to be the first to tell you guys, I'm not going to donate this. This has a sentimental value to me. This is my journey here on YouTube. I've shown all of these colorways in various projects. And so I want to hold on to this. This will be for me. So, yeah. Hi, Cherry. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Robin. Welcome in. Super happy to see you guys. It's so awesome to see all of you guys here today. In the middle of the day, nonetheless. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I do know that I've been asked, like, which of the whips am I donating and things like that. Sometimes I'll come on with the whip and be like, donation, and then I get attached to it. And then I say to myself, well, you know you wanted that for donations, but you're falling in love with it. I think it's okay to change your mind. You know, there are projects that I said, oh, I'm going to keep it, and then I wind up donating it, you know, behind the scenes. There are projects I've told you guys, oh, I'm keeping this. I totally donated it. Hi, Andrew. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the gifted membership. Really appreciate that. April, congratulations on the gifted membership. That's so, so awesome. So I guess the question now becomes, which whips are we working on for the week, right? I will tell you unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, I am going to be working on my corner to corner. I really want to move the needle on this. I'm super inspired. I've got the final colors going. I want to be able to come here on the podcast and show you a finished corner to corner blanket at long last. I want to put this to bed. I want to get this in the washing machine. I want to, I want to do all of that. So this is definitely one that I'm really proud of, but yeah, I want to get this done. So finished. Oh, so finished. So close. See, this is what happens when I read the comments as I speak. I start to adhere to like what I'm seeing. All right, so there's that. The next one that I really want to move on. Let me write this down. I should do that. So one corner to corner. The next one that I really want to work on for the week is this. I want to work on this for the week. Hi, Wendy. Welcome in. Thank you so much for your gifted membership. And congratulations to Holly. That's so awesome. So here it is. This is the moss stitch back and forth. I'll show it to you guys one more time because we have a bunch more people here that weren't here when I first showed it. So moss. I did a coffee and cake with Juan. It was part of our Wednesday challenge. I made scrap cakes and I'm working both of the cakes together now. I guess the significance of these is I'm using all vintage variegated discontinued yarn and I'm running both of those together and I'm creating this fabric that looks like I've taken a paintbrush, mixed colors on my my paint tray, and then I just dabbed on the canvas. That's the effect that I want to create with this. And I think I've done that. So I'm really happy with the way that this is looking. And the way to do this, as I mentioned before, is to really play with contrast. So whether you're using variegated yarn, discontinued vintage, it doesn't matter. Give yourself the contrast when you're making your scrap cakes. Pick a light color, then a dark color, then a light color. Go back and forth if you can. And then when you run your two yarns together, look at your cake and start your yarns, one light, one dark, and just run with that. And you'll get this. Okay, it's super easy to make. You don't have to have all of this old yarn that I have. You can use whatever you have in your stash, and it really does look great. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I love this. So yes, we are working on this for the week. And for those who may need to know, I'm running 2 4-weight yarns with an 8mm crochet hook. I've tried it with a smaller hook. I've tried it with a larger hook. Going smaller than an 8mm is very tight. It feels like a rug. I didn't want that effect. I hooked up to a 9, too loose. I even tried a 10. It was too lacy. So for me and my tension, an 8mm US letter L was exactly what this called for. So that is going to be the second one. And I will show you the ones I'm choosing are the ones I'm going to be showing you on the podcast on Friday. I'm going to show you my updates. All right. So that's 2. Number 3 is going to be this one. So this is my Timber Trails. I'd like to finish up that second cake. I need to finish the second cake and start on the third. That's going to be my goal. Finish the second cake, start the third cake, and keep going. I asked you guys on the last podcast, do we stop here or do we keep going? And all of you guys, well, not all, most said, keep going, Juan. You've got 5 cakes earmarked for this project. You're about to start the third cake. Keep going. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep going with this project. Timber Trails, really, really nice. I love the texture. I love how this feels. Even in a DK weight yarn, there's some heft to it, and I really like that. It's super, super nice. Can you mix different yarns together because I'm just learning to crochet? I do. Yeah, my various projects that I have here. Red Heart Super Saver, Big Twist, Bernat Super Value. The thing that you want to really pay attention to is on your ball band of any random skein of yarn. I'll use this one since it's the closest. You want to look at this, okay? If you're working with different yarns, make sure they're all the same number. So this is a medium 4-weight yarn. So you can use whatever color you want. Try to keep it all the same class, the weight class. So this is a medium weight yarn. And if you're working with a thinner yarn, it'll be like a DK weight yarn. Just make sure that the ball band says number 3. And you can change colors and do whatever you want with it. Okay? So, yeah, the colorway here is called Satyrs. Satyrs. All right? And I'll show you the cake up close and personal for those who wish to see it. That's what it looks like. That's the name, Satyrs. And that's the color story right there. And those are the specs. A light 3-weight yarn. They're suggesting a 5mm crochet hook. You have 1,080 yards, 10.5 ounces at 300 grams. Or 1,080 meters, 1,181 yards, sorry. 100% acrylic. And then the front of this, mandala bonus bundle. Okay? I'm sure that most of you guys have seen these. You know what they look like. I do those little bits and bobs of things for people who are new to crochet. You know, they want to know where the information that I talk about, like where it is. So that's why I do that. I'm sure a lot of you guys are very understanding to that. All right, so I'm going to put down timber trails. Okay, 2 more. I'm only choosing 5. I'm going to choose half of the stack for this week, the other half for next week. And I'm going to flip-flop and go back and forth. So I've got 2 more slots for projects. I think what I'm going to do is go against the grain and choose the project with all of the ends. Am I color controlling the rows? No, the cake is doing all of the work on its own. It's turning out beautiful. Like, as I was working it, I'm like, I don't have to. It's just doing all the things I wanted to, but no color control. Here it is. I think I need to work on this, get this done and together by Friday. Actually, before Friday, because the podcast is Friday. So it's Monday. I've got until Thursday to get this done. I think I can do it. So we're going to call this the TikTok squares. And I'm being very strategic about my whips here because I'm looking at the ones that I feel like I can get done by Friday, or I'm looking at the ones that I can move the needle on by Friday. I want to have a productive week and I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I'm going to choose 5 of the 10. And of the 5 that I'm choosing, I expect at least one of them to be a finished object. Yeah. And last but not least, I'm going to work on Novacrest. So I'm going to work the Novacrest blanket because I only have those 2 repeats to go and it's finished. So it would only be smart of me to put this on the list to get it done so we can move on to other whips, right? So, let's see. Hello, Deborah. Thank you so much for being here. Very happy to see you. Long time no see. Thank you for popping in here. So Novacrest is this, in case you haven't seen it. Using a J-hook, Premier yarn, all the things. I'm going to just put this here. So this is called Novacrest. Perfect. So those are my 5 whips to work on for the week. I have my 5. The rest of them are going back to the whip wall, and they're going to be earmarked for next week. Now, here's the thing. If I finish my whips ahead of schedule, I'll have it here ready for the podcast, and then I'll move on to the other whips. But here is my priority. These are my priority, my 5. All right. Which means we're not touching this. We're not going to touch this. And we're not touching Bernat blanket. Although I want to, I'm not going to. Oh, thank you so much, Nizoni. Thank you for the super chat. Let me give that a heart. Thank you. Thank you. Study says, Juan, I really want to make a granny square cardigan, but I haven't seen one I really like. Would you design one? Once my workload lightens up a little bit, I will be exploring those other projects. I've had requests for ruanas, ponchos, cardigans. I've been asked to put together these things. I will work on those. This is kind of why I'm doing this, because once I lighten my workload, I can then start other projects. So I'm really excited about it. Becca, thank you so much for gifting memberships. Victoria, Chazzy, Jay, Sharon, Judy, thank you so much for one, being on my channel, and two, congratulations on the gifted memberships. From Becca, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That's so awesome. Hello, Cindy Hearts. Welcome in. Super happy to have you here. So those are my whips, not gifts, whips. And by the way, none of this, of what we're doing here, has anything to do with the other projects. So for instance, the challenges that we've got going on every other week, not including. I'm still working on all of those in between all of these. So we've got those challenges from last Wednesday. And then also, too, I've got my knit whips that I work on. And I also have luck of the draw. So tons of things to keep me busy, but I'm definitely wanting to get through all of my whips, which is why we're doing this. Yes, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So I'm checking to see if we have any questions. Any questions about any of the things? I'd really, let me see. Hold on one second. Let me just check something. Give me one moment. Okay. Come on. We can do it. Okay. So good. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words. So those are my whips to work on, guys. I'm really happy about it. Sidebar, side note. How many of you guys received this in the mail today? I was just talking about them yesterday. Trish, thank you so much for gifting a membership. I appreciate you. And congrats to, let's see, Cam for the gift of membership from Trish. That's very nice. Thank you. And Sammy Jazz, thank you so much for the super sticker. We love a good we love a good unicorn. I almost, yep. The pattern unicorn is what came to mind. So I want to talk to you guys about this very quickly. If you haven't seen this, you can request this at Hirschners.com on the website. You can request catalog, put in your mailing information, and they will mail this to you. And you get these monthly. So let me tell you guys about this front page. Okay, so they've got a special sale going on right now. Mystery Millends. Okay, premium yarns at unbeatable prices. Stock up now. All right. Here's the thing. A lot of these are on sale, okay? If you've purchased yarn from Hirschner's before, it's not going to look like a sale. It's going to look like their everyday price. Here's the thing. The price of the yarn, the cost of the yarn has increased. So with the increases in pricing of yarn and everything in general, you're still seeing the same, like the former prices are now the sale prices. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at yarn in general, not just from Hirschner's, but across the board. Just keep in mind that the cost of yarn is increasing. So when you're shopping, look elsewhere and compare. Like it's this price at this store, it's this price at that store. So the common price is this. And then you be the judge as to whether if it's too expensive or not. I will tell you that the 2-packs of the cotton yarn here have always been $14.99. It's now the sale price, $14.99. I would imagine that this would be closer to $19.99 when it's not on sale. Now, the reason why I say that is because Right here, they're now selling 4-packs, and the original price is $60. $60 for 4. And they're giving it to us for $29.99. So, yeah. When you get this, just take a look at it, and don't be scared of the sticker shock. Some of the prices in here, and then I looked at the competitors, and it's very competitive because prices are going up across the board. And this is why when it's on sale, guys, you stack and you pack. People are like, Juan, you have too much yarn. Yes, I do, because hello, I told you guys months and months and years ago that the day will come when all of these prices are going to go up, and everyone's going to be like, well, how can I get the yarn? How am I going to, so wait for the sale and get that yarn when the sale comes. Just figure out and plan ahead for a space to put your yarn, so that way you're not trying to rustle around every day, to work around it. So, yeah. Hello, Laura Twisting Stitches. Thank you for coming. Who needs groceries, right? Who needs groceries when you have yarn? 0 calories, right? I agree. We need more 0 calories. I've gotten some yarn for next winter to make my mom something. It was on sale, and I think it may not even be in production by then. Exactly. And the other thing, too, I really want to stress, and most, if not all of you guys already know this, but I feel like it's worth talking about. Finding different ways to get yarn is okay, meaning it doesn't always have to come from a store brand new. There's tons of people out there who are looking to de-stash. There's tons of people out there that want to pare down their stash. And if you're looking for yarn, look for those places first. Because number one, in most cases, not all, most cases, it's a discounted price. You're getting a great deal on yarn. Otherwise, you'd pay twice as much for, so check out Facebook Marketplace. Be safe on that, though. Take it for face value. It is Facebook Marketplace. eBay, Mercari, all of those places, look for discounted yarn. Also, the thrift stores. Great place to get yarn. I've done it months and months and months in a row, and I brought that yarn on the channel. I shared it with you guys. A lot of you guys have that yarn that I got from the thrift store. So it's a really great way to get a bunch of yarn for a discount price. Is it going to be like brand new right out of the bag? No, not necessarily, but it's okay. All yarn is good yarn. That's what I keep telling you guys. Like when I showcase yarn, it doesn't matter. All yarn is good yarn. You just got to find the right purpose for it, So hopefully that piece of advice is of use to you guys. But then again, a lot of you already know this. Not all thrift stores carry yarn. So, when you're going to the Goodwill and when you're going to the consignment shops, save yourself some time. Go right to the register area and ask the person working the cash wrap or customer service, hey, do you guys have yarn here today? They're either going to say yes or no. And if they say yes, well, you saved yourself some time. And if they say no, you also saved yourself some time. Unless, of course, you want to peruse the aisles. But at least going in whether or not they have yarn, Unless it's mohair. This is correct. If it's mohair, it's no. We're not doing that for us. Nope, not at all. I remember always getting it from Kmart. Yes, the sale yarn. And it would have the Kmart label on it. $1.77 for a 3-ounce skein. White label. I remember. Yep. And who here remembers Woolworths? My first yarn shopping experiences were at Woolworths. And one side of the store was like the store, and the other side of the store was like a little, I don't want to say gastropub, but like a diner. And it served milkshakes and cheeseburgers and French fries. And you used to be able, well, I know when I was younger, before I got into the yarn, I was always placed in the diner with either a cousin or an aunt, and my mom and everybody went shopping while I sat there and had lunch. Yes. Those were the days, Woolworths. You'd be able to get lunch, go shopping all in one place. And I used to love the way the building smelled because you couldn't really make up your mind. Was it a restaurant or was it a grocery store or was it like an all-in-one store? It was just so good. Absolutely love it. You remember that about Kmart? Yeah. And you know what? Their yarn was really good yarn, I felt. For $1.77. Now, we all know this, right? If you've been around, if you're Gen X or greater, you know this. Back then, $1.77 isn't what $1.77 is to us today. $1.77 was quite a bit. I mean, it's inexpensive, but it was still like, oh, geez, it's $1.77. I remember that part too, because I remember my allowance being $5. And I used to be able to get one skein of Karen 1 pound. That was my allowance for the week, $5. It was $4.99 with the tax. And it's this yarn up here, Karen 1 pound. Each week, I don't know why I did that. I would only get $5 a week for doing my chores. And I spent my money on yarn. Most kids would go to the corner store and buy candy. No, I bought yarn and had no idea what I was doing with it until I got a little older, but then I always took the candy from my sisters. I never had to buy my own candy because they all had the candy, and I would, take a piece here, take a piece there, or they got tired of the penny candy and gave it to me. So it made no purpose for me to actually buy the candy. I always got it for free. I remember, this is off topic, talking about chores. I remember as a kid, next door neighbor, her name was Eleanor. She was 90 something years old. Okay. And we were neighbors with this lady, and she actually is the very first and only owner of the house at the time. She was raised in that house with her parents, and she was too old at the time to take out her trash, so I volunteered to do it. And every week on Thursday, I would take her trash out. She would have it by the back door, and I'd walk it around the side of the house to the front and put it on the sidewalk, because back in the day, the trash men actually had to lift the cans themselves and dump it into the trash, I don't know, vehicle. And so I did the trash, and she would always put $2. She would tape two $1 bills to the back door on the inside of the screen, and it would be my allowance for taking out the trash. And I always said, like, it's okay, And if ever I forgot, she would intentionally, like the next day when she saw me, she would come out very slowly. Come here, Juan, come here. And she would take the $2 and stuff it right here. She's like, you take this. And I would always take that too. Like if I really wanted like some corner store penny candy or something like that, and the sisters are being stingy, I would use that to go to the corner store and get the things. Yeah, but back in the 80s, $5 a week for allowance was a really good allowance. And especially taking out trash for the next door neighbor, getting $2. I got $7 a week back in the 80s. Like we're talking like 1987, 1986, 1988. That's a really good allowance, I feel. That's probably the equivalent of like what, $20 today? That's a really good allowance. Carla says it sure was. I got $1. But see, even $1, it went a long way back then when we were kids, because penny candy at the corner store, you could literally just dig into the containers and put it in that small brown paper bag. And then they would take the bag, dump it on the counter, and just count really quick how many pieces you had. And that was it. So good. And you know what it was? I think that the reason why the neighbor took to me was, one, when she was a kid, she played the violin. And I would always practice on the front porch. And I would have my chair, my little stand, my little itty bitty violin. And back in the day, I have to see if I can find pictures. When I was a kid, my mom would not allow me to wear regular street clothes to school. I was always with the clip on tie and the V-neck sweater, sleeveless, with the dress shirt, the dress pants, and the clacker shoes. That's what I wore Monday through Friday at school. And whenever we had gym, I would have gym clothes in the bag. So I'd be out on the porch dressed up with my school clothes, playing my violin, and she would always come out and watch me play. It would be horrendous. I mean, we're talking Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I mean, the screeching and all the things, but she didn't mind it. She loved it. She would clap. She'd be like, "Great job, Juan. Way to go." All the things, you know. She would say all, like, she wouldn't say all the things. It wasn't a thing back then, but she would say all of those supportive things, you know. So it was really nice, and it encouraged me to continue going. So that was like when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. You know, we got really close, and then as I got older, I moved. Preppy looking, yes. I had the thick glasses and everything. I've worn glasses since I was a little kid. Anyway, so, but back to the yarning topics. My neighbor, she never crocheted like that. It was always my aunt, my grandmother, my mom. She dabbled into it with her granny squares and all the things. But yeah, a little bit of history from back in the day. Now looking back, I'm like, how was she even able to listen to all of that screeching? You know, because I remember I used to screech a lot. And then, of course, I got better as the time went on, but like, that was a lot. What is the blue shawl you had on? So it's called the Timeless Reflections shawl. Timeless Reflections. I'm going to see if I can pull it up and show it to you. Timeless Reflections. And really nice. Timeless Reflections. There it is. Timeless Reflections. Back when I kept my hair buzzed. Wow. Some days I do miss the buzzed haircut. But I kind of like this too. It's coiffed to the side a little bit. It's growing. We have it going back this way. Anyway. So I do want to make mention of the fact that on the channel here, I have a bi-weekly program that I run called Let's Chat Stitches. And it's literally a space and place for you to acclimate yourself more to the world of crochet. And if you're ever wanting to learn how to read patterns, if you're wanting to understand like what the letters mean, it's a great space and place to see that. Also, if you're wanting to be able to look at a stitch and know what that looks like and why it looks the way that it does, it's a great place. A lot of you guys have reached out with very positive comments about that bi-weekly program, and we're going to continue doing that. And this Wednesday is that day. So if you're interested to see what that's about, if you don't already know, come on over. We'd love to have you. Even if you're just watching from the bushes, you know, you can kind of sort of see what that all looks like. We go over basic terms, like what is a yarn baby? And then a huge knot, usually larger than the hole at the end of the skein that is pulled out to untangle. So we learn all of these things. What is an FO? Finished object. Corner to corner. So it's to really acclimate ourselves to the world of crochet, because a lot of people watch tutorials and they can actually do it by watching, but how awesome would it be for you to be able to watch a tutorial and really understand the mechanics behind crochet, right? So we can watch anybody and copycat what they're doing, but I think taking it a next step further and saying, okay, that's a double crochet stitch. So on paper, what does that look like? What does that stitch look like on paper? What are the letters? Why are the letters where they're at? What's the asterisk before it? What are the parentheses? So, and I feel like this, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel very strongly that you're never too old to learn something new. You're never too young to start a new chapter, or, it doesn't matter. I think that whether you've been crocheting for a day, a year, or a decade or longer, we all have something that we can learn from it. I still learn things in crochet. So whether it be terms, whether it be a new stitch combination, mixing weights of yarns, different hooks, they're always coming out with new things. So there's always things to learn in the world of crochet. So if you're available, come visit. We'd love to have you. Okay. Myra says, I love Ledge Chat Stitches. So informative and a review at the same time. Yeah. Most of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But every now and then, I learned something along the way and I want to share it with you guys. Or there is something that, is new to you that you could put in your toolbox. So true. We are lifelong learners. Yep, absolutely. So Eileen is asked spring cow ? I'm assuming you want to know about the spring cow. So I am designing the spring cow. And as I mentioned before, it will be out in the middle of April. So yeah, the second week of April, we're going to have a kickoff live stream where I will show you the completed blanket and I will talk about the yarn that you're going to need and all of the things. So if you're interested in participating in the spring cow, the middle of April is when it's happening. All right. Super, super exciting. What time is what? Oh, it's 7 p.m. I'm so sorry. So all of my live streams through the week are 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with exception to 2 live streams. Sunday live stream is 6 p.m. Eastern, and this one, which is always going to be 1 p.m. in the afternoon. All right. And another thing too, guys, this is always going to be a thing. So if you're available and you want to come hang out for a little while, come hang. We'd love to have you. 1 o'clock p.m., always on a Monday. And if you're a member to the channel, we've got a live stream tonight, members only live. We do those on Mondays. Okay. Naomi, thank you so much for popping in here. So I believe that is all I have for this live stream, guys. Thank you so much for coming here, spending some time with me during this midday live stream. Again, it's a great way for me to organize my week. So I now have the whips that I plan on working on for the week, and I can't wait to show you my progress on the podcast. So that is all from me for now. And until the next one, guys, take care. Bye.